Good morning, YouTube. Today is going to be the video that I know a lot of you have been waiting for, including myself. Today we're finally going to make this 458 sound like a proper Ferrari. We're going to put in an X-pipe from S-Line Exhaust. Yes, I got sponsored by S-Line Exhaust. They sent me one of their 458 exhausts, and it is glorious. So let me show you all about it, and of course we're going to install this thing and hear it, and it's going to be bellissimo.
Can't stop, won't stop. I can't stop, won't stop.
So are you recording all of the nefarious activities?
Yes, we're drinking some hot chocolate today because cold front blew in last night and it went from 90 degrees to 45. So we got the S-Line 458 exhaust, and if you didn't know, these exhausts are actually handmade in the USA. Basically an artisan exhaust. So this isn't like cookie cutter, whatever crap made from, bullshit parts. This is real stainless. It's solid, good stuff. And again, handmade, so you can see the welds are really nice, very good welds, good mandrel bends, so there's no deflection in the tubes. Nice mounting points already set up. We got heat shields, and then of course we got some mounting hardware. So what's really cool about this exhaust is supposedly we do not have to even remove the bumper. We do have to, of course, pull the under tray, and supposedly we're gonna have to pull the air box out. So I don't know exactly why. My suspicion is probably those upper mounts, you can't get to them, or maybe you can't take the old exhaust out without removing the air intake, but it's supposed to be reasonably easy, so hopefully this is something I can do myself. So we're gonna give it a shot. But before we put on the new exhaust, the first thing I'm gonna do is actually measure how loud the old exhaust is. So I have a decibel meter. We're gonna put it behind the car on a cold start. I'm not gonna really rev it up a whole bunch because I'm not gonna let it warm up because I'm gonna be pulling the exhaust off. So I don't want it to get super hot so I can burn myself, but we're gonna at least give it a couple blips on the gas and see what sort of decibels we get. And then of course, once we get the new exhaust on there, we'll get a cold start out of that, see what sort of decibels we get out of that, and then we'll have to let it warm up all the way and really hear this absolutely beautiful sound. So if you didn't know, these X-pipes, this S-Line exhaust, is actually available for other Ferraris. So right now it's available for the 458 and the 430 and the Scuderia. I really wanted to get one for my 430. In fact, my 430 exhaust was actually kind of modeled after this. My exhaust didn't sound quite as good as the S-Line exhaust, so this S-Line exhaust just sounds fantastic. So as has been my policy from the start, you guys know that I only support products and companies that I actually use. So yes, this is a product I actually wanted and I'm actually gonna use. Furthermore, I also make sure that I try and hook you guys up when I can. So I got you guys a deal. If you go to S-Line's website, so it's s-linesound.com, and you wanna buy one of their exhausts, just let them know Normal Guy sent you and you're gonna get 10% off your order. Yes, honestly, this is one of the best prices on the market. That was one of the reasons I really was attracted to their product, and also the fact that they're handmade. I've got my 2 decibel meters set up. As you can see, not quite perfectly accurate because these are, like cheapo units. I'm gonna start it up. We'll see how many decibels we get on startup, and then maybe I'll blip the gas a little. So it looks like the startup is about 110, 111 decibels with the stock exhaust with the valves open. Now we're just gonna see what it does when I give it just a blip on the gas. I'm gonna wait for it to come off the cold start. So as you can see, blipping the gas got up to about 130-ish decibels, 131 on the one. I think it maxes out around 133 or 134. So I don't know how much louder it's really gonna get. Obviously, it's kind of a bit of a stacked deck considering we had a piece of cardboard kind of deflecting all the sound right up into the mic. So realistically, it's not gonna be quite that loud out in the open, but it's certainly not quiet. Now, we're gonna start wrenching away and put in that S-Line exhaust and make this thing sound like a proper Ferrari. Alright, so first thing we're gonna do is jack the car up using the quick jacks and get the under tray off. I think I got it down, or I can actually do this tray in under 10 minutes now. Another quick tip is undo the side bolts before you jack it up, and then undo the bolts for the air duct before you jack it up. That way, all we have to do is when we jack it up, we'll just get the center bolts, and then the tray should come off pretty easily. Just to point out also, before we get too far into it, I know someone's gonna complain and say, "Hey, I thought you were gonna totally straight pipe it." Well, so first of all, I'm not gonna like straight pipe it. We're gonna put in an X pipe, which is basically a straight pipe. There's no mufflers. For now, I'm leaving the cats in, and it's more a logistical problem than it is anything else. Because we're going on the Bull Run GT rally in just a few days, I didn't want to have to pull the cats, retune the computer, flash it, and all that stuff. I was a little bit uncomfortable with trying to do all that in 3 days and have it come out perfectly. So we're gonna do the cats when we get back from Bull Run. Don't worry, this thing's gonna be really loud when we're done, like really loud. Loper, I'm coming for you. All right, we're gonna jack it up. Quick jack out of here. Under tray's out of there, now we raise it again. Gotta remove the diffuser. Has a couple 10 mils and then a bunch of little 4mm Allens. So here's what we're working with. We got the big old muffler. There's a clamp here, and there's a clamp way up there, and then there's another clamp up there by the catalytic converter, which we'll have to get to in a minute. Hoping maybe we can take off the big old cans and disconnect these pipes and kind of get this crap out of the way, which maybe will give us a little more room. And then I guess once we get all that out, then we can take the air box out, which is just directly above this muffler. There are some rubber mounts we're gonna have to deal with. I have a feeling I'm gonna be laying on my back for quite a while. I guess we'll spray them with a little liquid wrench. I'm gonna try the breaker bar, and if that doesn't work, then we'll bust out the air impact. That will definitely get it off, but let's try this first. Oh yeah, there we go. Not much moving yet. Let's try the other ones. So we're gonna try a little bit of brute force with the rubber mallet. See if I can't shake this thing loose. We'll try beating it a little. Oh. So there's two 13mm bolts that are right up here, and those seem to attach the muffler to the mounting bracket. So I'm gonna pull those off, see if that maybe lets the whole system move a little better. Got the bracket on the outside of the corner of the can loose. So what I'm doing is actually I'm unbolting that mount, and I'm just gonna take the mount with the cans entirely. So hopefully that'll work. There's three 10mm bolts, and there's two mounts, one in the front, and then there's one up there, which is much more difficult to get to. So I'm gonna try and get those out, and then hopefully this thing will come down. We got all the brackets loose. Let's see if maybe, just maybe it'll come out. Ooh, we got a lot of movement. Crap. So the problem is now it's fluxing way up at the headers. Alright, so I've been messing around with this thing for probably over an hour. It's getting really close, like you can actually see where the clamp has moved some. But then what happened was the upper hanger here was actually hitting the frame of the car, and it wouldn't go any further, and I didn't realize that at first. So then you can actually remove the bracket off the hanger. So it's a 10mm bolt. I'm gonna get the other side. I think maybe that's gonna be the trick.
Eventually.
Okay, I've been working on this thing for probably 4 hours now, and I just cannot get it off.
Told you, don't be a little bitch.
So I think I'm gonna have to remove the bumper. I mean, there's the clearance. When I push it back, it's just not enough unless the bumper comes off, is from what I can tell. Yeah, I'm at a loss here because I just keep banging away at it, and I beat the shit out of the mufflers. The only other thing I could do is maybe saw the mufflers off, but then I can't sell them or do something with them if I ever want to reuse them, so I'd like to keep them intact, is the goal. Yes, I gave up and broke out the sawzall, and now I have a free muffler, thank God. At some point, time becomes more important than the value of selling these stupid mufflers. I was just like, you know what? If I saw them, I'll have them out in 10 minutes. So that's what I'm doing. I don't really care about selling these things. I am definitely never reverting it. And frankly, if I ever want to reinstall it, all I have to do is have a new tip welded on, like that little piece. So it's not like it's a big deal. All it is the clamp. So the clamp piece is actually welded. You can see right there. So I can have that remade. Man, I will never play for Notre Dame.
Dear Mr. Rudiger, your application for admission with advanced standing to the University of Notre Dame has been evaluated by...
Okay, pieces of shit. Thank you.
Well, this calls for a celebration. I will.
If any of you happen to be looking for a up 458 exhaust, I've got your back. I'll sell it to you dirt cheap. At some point you just cut your losses and say, my time is more important. I don't know why it wouldn't come out. I think the pipes exit the catalytic converters maybe are longer. As soon as you push the mufflers back, it would hit the frame. And you couldn't go up or down because then it changes the angle and makes it worse. So even if I remove the bumper, the muffler cans themselves were hitting the frame. So like this piece right here, you can see it's all like ground up, is because that was pressing directly into the frame. So it just couldn't go any further. In the instructions it says to remove this pipe that goes between the two, but there literally was not enough room to get it to actually go in there. Whatever, they're out and they can be repaired, so it's not like it's that big a deal. These are just clamps with pipe, so all I have to do is get a bigger pipe and then clamp it and it'd be all set. So now we gotta start putting the heat shields and then we should be hopefully good to go. All right, so because my clamps are welded to the tube, I'm gonna have to saw that off so I can recover these clamps. Should be pretty simple, just use a sawzall. There. So this bracket will go onto these two screws right here. Then this post has this mount right here, and those mounts are gonna go on that back wall, which is the frame. And I think that's kind of the only mounting point. So the big thing's gonna be, so in the instructions it talks about removing a heat shield. I now see what he's talking about. This is the heat shield up here. So in order to get to it, we're gonna have to go from the top side. That's where we need to pull the air box. So I had to remove the side panels, pretty easy to do that. And then of course I had to disconnect the air box, and now I'm actually pulling out the air box itself. Yeah, in order to get to the heat shields. All right, air box is out. Took out the valve solenoids, so that's the device that actually controls the valves. And then as you can see now, we got the old heat shields. We need to get those out. Pain in the butt is what this has become. Yeah, it's been that kind of day. Oh yeah. So I was just sitting here and I was thinking, man, once I get the air box back in, the heat shields in, maybe I should fire it up with no exhaust just to hear like true open exhaust. What do you think? Probably will do that. All right, so to get that heat shield off, you can see we actually have to drill out those rivets, and then there's some mounts. So we've got the two oil cooler lines wrapped with hoses, that way they won't chafe the heat shield. And then basically the heat shield slips over those mounts, and then we put the actual exhaust mounts in, and that'll hold it in place. Look who's here. So it turns out the heat shield that goes on the transmission, the instructions say this, that you may have to modify it. So what I found is that there's a hole here and a hole down here. Those holes don't align to anything. So this hole has a screw that works, but then there's another screw that fits right there on mine. So this is because mine's a 2010. So if you have a 2015, or I think any of the other years except for 2010, maybe 2011, it should work better. But so I'm gonna drill that hole and then we'll mount it. Okay, got the top end back together. So heat shields are in place, all the carbons back in, the air filter, the air box, the sides. Now we gotta get the exhaust in. So yes, back underneath. Almost forgot. I'm gonna start up with no mufflers, no nothing, just to hear what it sounds like. wasn't that loud at all. That actually was kind of disappointing. It wasn't basically as loud as it was before. Man, that kind of sucks. Well, it shows you how much the cats muffle sound, so we definitely gotta get rid of those damn things. Celebratory beer because we got 1/2 of it in. Ah, there it is. 1/2. All right, so now we just gotta get this side and the little tips, and then it's done. Oh my God. All right, just getting the mounts over there on the sides. Gotta do all the clamps. Still haven't tightened down any of the clamps. Yeah. And then we're pretty much there. We gotta put in the little exit pipes, and that's it. Oh shit, look at that. That looks super good. By the way, it's actually signed on the back of it, the dude who made it. And it's number 121, just in case you wanted to know. Glorious! Can't wait to hear this thing. We have the under tray, and that's it. Holy shnikes. It's back together. I was just looking at my clock. It's 10:30 at night, and I started at about 10:30 this morning. So I've been working on this about 12 hours. Granted, I took a break for lunch and dinners. I'm exhausted, but now we get to hear this damn thing. Yes, yes, let's start this. Oh, I didn't wash my hands. All right, it's on the ground. Just like before, I've got the little like splatter shield set up, and I've got the microphone set. So we'll see how many decibels it gets on a cold start. I don't know if I'm gonna rev the motor since it's almost 11 o'clock at night now. So we'll have to do that tomorrow. I wanna drive it in the daylight too. So we're gonna strap the microphones on and do some more stuff tomorrow. So we're not done yet. I just wanna hear it tonight. I gotta hear it tonight. Oh, look at, I have an audience. The audience of 2. Yay. This is a very exciting moment. We have a new exhaust.
Apparently it is.
Woo! Alright, we're gonna go take it for a spin. We'll film some more tomorrow. Oh yeah, looks like we got 105 and 110.
Day 2.
Okay, YouTube, it's the next morning. So again, I wanted to get the decibels off this thing. So we'll do another cold start. We'll see what the decibels are. I'll give it a quick blip up to about 4,000 RPM. I'm not gonna really rev it because the engine will be cold. And then I'm gonna strap on the GoPro, put that off the back of the car, and see how this sucker sounds going down the road. I think it's gonna be pretty good. Well, it looks like it's pretty much the same sound or decibel levels. All right, guys, let's go for a drive, see how it sounds on the road. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I think it sounds absolutely incredible. I am super pleased with this. Of course, a lot of people are going to be asking, aren't you going to remove the cats or put in sport cats? And the answer is yes. Again, we're going to be working on that. So that will come soon. It's going to be another video. It's going to be a little bit for now. Again, I just had to get that exhaust in before the Bull Run GT Rally, so that's in only a few days. I didn't really want to deal with tuning the car and worrying about having ECU problems and whatever before leaving town. Again, if you guys are interested in putting in an S-Line exhaust on one of your cars, mention my channel and you're going to get 10% off. They have it for the 458, the 430, and the Scuderia, and I'm thinking they're going to come out with some more pretty soon, and obviously they're going to be having some test pipes made really soon, so that's going to be pretty badass. But finally, sounds like a proper Ferrari. Oh yes. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate when you guys like, share, and subscribe, so please do that. And we're going to be doing a lot of car stuff. You guys are want to stay tuned. It's going to be sweet.